All right, welcome back, everybody. Today, what we're going to talk about is Bastet. Picking Bastet first, specifically. What are the pros? What are the cons? Is she worthy of the first pick in RTA? I think she is, and I tend to first pick her quite a bit. So I thought I would talk a little bit about what she brings to the table. So, what I really like about her is she allows you flexibility as the picks go on. She can fit with a YOLO team. In fact, you'll see a lot of them in YOLO teams. She can fit in a sustain team, and then she can fit in a sort of a hybrid control team. So she brings a lot of flexibility from the first pick, which is what you kind of want. If you're not specifically trying to counter pick and take a unit away from your opponent, then picking something with a lot of flexibility is a good choice. So the first thing she brings is the shield, and I think the shield is sort of what makes her a great pick. It's similar to Wusa. What's nice is it scales based on her level instead of her HP. So as the HP decreases with the timer, her shield stays the same. So a lot of times you'll get a late shield up, and that'll be just enough sustain to push you over the top and get you the win there at the end. So we're watching a replay of Bastet and others in action. This is a hybrid control build. It's got good sustain with Eladriel, and it's also got the nice control with Okeanos. Okay, so to go along with the shield, she's also got the 3-turn attack buff, which is really strong. It's going to give all your monsters a little more pop and can sometimes give you enough of an initial hit to get a kill on something that maybe doesn't have the HP it needs to survive. So the 3-turn attack buff is just constantly going to be helping you out against your opponents. There's not a lot of people in World Arena that are able to find a monster that brings that attack buff to include it. You'll see the occasional Chasun or something like that, but attack buff is a fairly rare buff outside of a YOLO comp. So you don't really think about it, but it helps. It's just going to help your DPS with all your monsters. For me specifically, when I'm trying to ruin my monsters tanky, the first stat I'll let slide is attack, because I know they're going to get that attack buff from Bastet. My Sierra is a good example of that. Her attack is really low, a lot lower than a lot of people would feel comfortable with, but with that attack buff, her bombs still do enough to have an impact on the battle. So if you know that you bring a unique buff to the fight that you can count on pretty regularly, you can build your units around that strategy. So knowing that attack buff there is pretty important, I think. So this battle's going along. We got that early kill on Tiana, which was nice. Their sustain isn't super strong. Their sustain came from Wusa and the Iris. So they had a little bit of sustain, but it wasn't super strong. Okay, let's look at another Bastet first pick. Here's one against a Guildie. Or not. I don't believe he's in my guild, but he's in the Kindred Society family of guilds. So I picked Bastet first pick. They took my Sierra, which, it's their Sierra too, which I would have liked to have picked. So I decided to go into a more sustained comp pretty quickly with the Praha Eladriel. It pained me to let them get the Ciara and the Annabelle through, but Ganymede's too strong. Ganymede he's predictably great. The fact that he'll wipe your entire team's attack bars and cool somebody down, you just have to, in my opinion, I have to just ban him and deal with whatever's left. I would love to have banned the Annabelle. I would love to ban the Ciara, but the Ganymede took priority. So moving on to some of the other things, you see Bastet right there getting her second skill off, the AoE debuff skill. I mean, right now I'm feeling really, really nice. They're all debuffed up. There's attack, or there's glancing, there's defense break, there's heal block. Of course, Annabelle wipes it all clean, which is a bummer, especially since she's coming out of a CC. But that's just what Annabelle does. So Bastet has the combination of attack buff and defense break, which is what Galleon brings to the fight, which everyone loves Galleon for doing a lot of damage. So Bastet bringing that, if you don't have to deal with immunity, is super great. You have the combination of attack buff up and defense break on your opponent that can lead to a kill. Sometimes just the heal block can lead to a kill if their healers are trying to heal into something and can't do it. So that's a great second skill. The fact that it's AoE is fantastic. Ideally, it would be on Despair so that you could get that stun in there as well, but I need mine on Swift. I need her super fast. That's what I want to do. I want her to be the fastest unit on my team. So here's her second skill coming in again. You can see the glancing hit just then. I mean, it was water on fire, and that glancing debuff prevented Annabelle from doing a decent amount of damage. So second skill, super strong. Also, the first skill, I just hit it on the monkey. I use that first skill. I mean, I'm actively looking for targets for that first skill. That attack down is super powerful. So you're breaking their defense, you're bringing their attack down, and you're doing other debuffs. So she brings all the relevant debuffs you could really want. She just got the kill there because the timer's starting to tick. So in this fight, my sustain's working pretty well. My Eladriel, I want Eladriel to last as long as possible, but inevitably there's going to be a point where Eladriel's not going to be able to hang out. So I try to keep her alive as long as possible. All right, there's one more I wanted to look at. Is it this one? Yeah, against a defense comp, which I thought was a little bit interesting. You don't see those every day. This was the second match in back-to-back with this player, so they had seen my kind of control comp, and they didn't like the matchup or whatever, so they shifted to a defense comp. So we'll get to see how that works, which I think is really neat. So, we've talked about some of the strengths of Bastet. The attack bar boost is incorporated into that attack buff and that shield, which is great. I mean, you're getting a 25% attack bar boost. If you can sync up all your monsters to go first, here we're going first. We've got the cooldown on Olivia. We got the cooldown on Bulldozer. So already, my whole sequence, my team took their entire sequence of turns and is disrupting the enemy quite a bit. Man, that was a good hit. Well, I guess that's it for Bastet action in this match. We got the copper going. But, Wusa brings a lot to the fight, but Wusa is not going to speed sync your team. Wusa is inviting people to cut in between because he doesn't have that attack boost. So what's nice is Bastet's shield comes with the boost that can almost always sync up your units. Oh yeah, I res Bastet, of course. That was smart. So we'll get to see a little bit more Bastet. Though, I wouldn't say Bastet's not the reason you're going to be winning a fight, but Bastet is definitely everything you would want out of a support monster. Sustain, debuffs, attack bar boost, and I think brings puts a really strong case to picking them first in RTA. So, I didn't want to showcase a million different battles with Bastet, though I probably could because I picked Bastet first quite a bit. But I wanted to kind of show what Bastet brings to the table as a first pick, and I think it's a really strong first pick. I see her first picked more and more the higher I climb towards the end of last season when I was fighting to stay in Guardian 2 and ultimately failing. I was seeing Bastet first picked a lot, and that I think she brings a little bit more to the table than Orion. Orion's strong, but if you have a Bastet, it's a nat 5, so it's harder to obtain. I would strongly consider using her as a first pick. She brings a lot to the table. So that's my analysis on Bastet first pick. Hope it was helpful. If you have a Bastet, she's great. I'm going to go ahead and show my runes real quick so you can get an idea of what a Swift Bastet might look like. Mine's really, really fast. She has my fastest Swift set right now. I'm not sure that'll stay, but it might. So there are the runes. That's my new rune. And yeah, that's my Bastet. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch y'all next time. Take care.